With the mission to keep as many men on as many guns for as long as possible, we called him Doc. Welcome to Combat Vet Vision. And now your host, Aaron Chief Seaver.
The only way, like the sun bidding goodbye.
Hey, this is a place where I really get to talk about veteran needs, veteran situations, veteran stories, as well as our sponsor, supporters, and volunteers. I am at sitchradio.com. Sitchradio.com does all my podcasting setup, produces and puts out this awesome podcast, Combat Vet Vision. Hey, this is a place where veterans get to hear some stuff that might help them out in the future or right now, as well as it educates the public, gives them a chance to look into the eyes and the minds of combat vets in some aspects, as well as get some really good information out there. And today I'm going to talk about Veterans Expo and Job Fair that I went to in Beaumont on Saturday, which was an outstanding thing. I don't necessarily go out and make it to all these things because I spend a lot of my time just trying to keep up with helping the veterans the way that I do, and that's through Warrior Built and the PTSD Foundation of America. For those of you that don't know, Warrior Built Foundation is vocational recreational support for our combat vets. It gives the guys a place to go and actually work and do some stuff on race vehicles. And right now, it's in Lake Elsinore, California. We're gearing up for the King of the Hammers, which is out in Johnson Valley, coming up in the beginning of the month. I want to say right around the 2nd of February is one of the big dates that they got. So it's right in between there, but you got guys already setting up for Hammertown and all the different things that are going to go on for that whole operation. But that's Warrior Build. It gives the guys a place to kind of work on things. It's got a music studio. It's got the ability for us to do our warrior groups there, for the PTSD Foundation of America, which I work directly for, reaching out and helping combat vets with peer-to-peer mentor support, as well as if they need that further support, we send them to Houston, Texas on a no cost to the vet to get that help and support that they might need. And there's so many cool organizations, so many awesome job opportunities for so many different veterans in different aspects and ways that you'd be surprised. And so when I went to this expo to get all this information and do some networking, I was thinking, hey, I'll set up a booth, I'll do this and that. I'm part of the committee that was putting this together in a lot of ways. There's a lot of committees out there, a lot of different committees throughout towns, and this one happens to be Riverside and San Bernardino, all these different counties in that aspect come together, and they were able to put this really cool thing together for Beaumont. And up there, I met the master of ceremonies was actually the Mayor David Finn. I want to put a shout out to him. It was great to meet him, shake hands with him, and just talk to him. He's a veteran as well, Army vet. Spent some time overseas in Germany. He told a really cool story on that. Back in the day when the Berlin Wall was taken down and all that. So he was during those times. So it was good to hear him get up there and just do his speech and talk about the fact that this is a great expo. It's been there for years. I want to say the committee that put that together did a really phenomenal job. I will say, it got a little noisy towards the end, when we get the VA rep coming up there, and he actually is the director of the VA in Riverside. He got up there and did a lot of speaking, but by then everybody was wanting to go and venture out to all the different booths that were out there and just try to see what support is out there. And it got a little noisy. So I will say, it was good because finally Congressman Ruiz stood up and kind of put it, try to quiet it all down and just get a couple more questions out there were super important. And I felt like, when you're in these things, and Congressman Ruiz, I didn't get a chance to truly meet him, but he seemed like an outstanding guy. He's a Democrat, but it's Democrats are doing their thing too, and I hope that them and the Republicans can put something together, because one of those things that I always kind of think about is like, who are you going to vote for? Who most likely has the best set of circumstances? President Reagan was an awesome president, and so you can't rule that out. I mean, we really ought to have a lot of separation in this country, but that separation is really between Democrats and Republicans. I want to see that get put together. I didn't get a really good chance to meet Congressman Ruiz, but he is he's actually going to be down doing I'm doing my podcast right now in Irvine at sitchradio.com, but he's actually doing a town hall meeting today in Hemet for veterans, and I've kind of put that out on my network. So if you're in the Hemet area or even Riverside, wherever you're from, and you want to go to Hemet to go to this roundtable, definitely check that out and get there, because that's happening at 11:30. But it gives you a chance to really kind of put your word out there, and hopefully he takes that back to Congress and explains that in some fashion. And I want to say, he was well spoken, well put out, but I hope it works out. I didn't get a chance, and I'm not really big into politics, so I don't get involved with that too much. But I felt like somebody has to someday, sometime, and we put ourselves out there and kind of end up in a situation sometimes where we get a chance to really kind of speak our minds and kind of get some stuff out there. But anyway, I want to say the expo was really cool. Everybody's always talking about bringing veteran organizations together to kind of put together, or not even veteran organizations, businesses, and everything and such together to kind of form some sort of networking capability to really support our veterans. And I want to say there was a lot of veterans there that just needed different aspects and different things, but they had the opportunity to walk around and visit each table. And as much as I wanted to visit every table, I didn't even have a chance to hit all the tables, but I got a chance to go out there and introduce myself as Aaron Siebert. I do a lot with Warrior Built and the PTSD Foundation of America, reaching out to combat vets and helping them throughout their lives. And it helps me too. Everything I do is a force multiplier to helping me iron out my life in some aspect, go down a path that hopefully is a good one for me, or a better one, or a path that's really gonna make a difference in my life and really add to the quality of life that I think we as veterans deserve and need. And in a lot of how do you kind of decipher that? We're so used to giving ourselves up to so many different things, and some of us maybe need to be more involved in our lives, but we don't necessarily know what that looks like or how to approach that, or we want to be involved with nonprofit organizations and different things of that nature. And how do we get involved in those? Well, I'd say, check out these great venues where, you get the expos or some sort of veteran, opportunity, especially on Veterans Day and Memorial Day and all these different days. There's a lot of organizations putting together a lot, but I will say Beaumont put together this thing. And I went to one some years ago. We set up our booth. And the problem with that for me was that I was just trapped in the booth all day, and I got to talk to a lot of veterans, but I didn't really get to go see the other organizations that are out there doing really good things. And I think sometimes as a nonprofit organization, we get caught up into so much that we're doing that we don't open our eyes up to all the support networks or the force multipliers that exist out there. And I think that's a really good chance to kind of break away from that and take your card around and handing it to other organizations is really an important thing. And I was picking up a few cards and sending out messages, doing some stuff. And, I had a chance to talk to Wounded Warrior Project that was up there that they were really kind of putting forth so many great efforts, and they're still putting great forth efforts to helping our veterans, as well as connecting with Congress and getting bills up to get signed and get things rolling on a lot of different issues. And that, Wounded Warrior Project has kind of a black eye in a lot of ways because of the way that they started, made it look, and all this money was coming to them. And I don't know if they were really given the support and network that it needed, but what it did at first was it ensured the SGLI was paid out. And I want to say that's a life insurance policy, but it's a medical policy that every veteran has. And if they're in a hospital for a certain amount of time, they're entitled to some money after 30 days, that pays out a $25,000 payout if you can't do 2 of your ADLs. And there's some qualification pieces, but veterans didn't even know about that. And coming back from the battlefield in 2006, 2003, all the way to 2006 or whatever, it just wasn't widely known. And Wounded Warrior Project was adamant about making that get out there and make sure that the government's doing what it's supposed to be doing with the money that they have. So I want to say, a shout out to that and to all their efforts they're doing now. So it's really cool to see that. Some of the things I want to highlight, the Lions Club was there, and I want to say, when it comes to some cool things, Pizza Chalet was handing out some sandwiches, but the Lions Club was out there just serving the sandwiches up. So it was really cool that was provided, and that was lunch at this thing. And then they had lunch the last time that I was there too, and it was really cool. Navy Federal Credit Union was on deck. So many other great organizations. From dog training for service dogs. Just a really cool set of things. And I want to say, shout out to Beaumont High School Junior ROTC. Put together ROTC in the from the Air Force. March Air Force Base is nearby, and so it's usually an Air Force kind of ROTC in the area that we get. But they've always been adamant about putting that. The national anthem went down really well. It was great. POW MIA missing man table ceremony, which was really cool. I mean, you always get to hear about why the glass is inverted, and the salt, meaning the tears, for the bitter fates of those that are missing in action. You always get to hear that part, but when they come and they place the covers for each service on the deck, and they go around, they salute each cover, and they talk about the missing man and all that stuff. It's just a really incredible sight. So just the opening ceremonies was really cool. It took a little bit of time. There was chairs set up for veterans and visitors to sit in. Not everybody took advantage of that, but the keynote speakers, they had a lot of really good information to pass, and it's just important to kind of get in there and see that. And I didn't expect, that Beaumont, County or Beaumont, the city of Beaumont would put together such a great package and then have this thing in such a way that I didn't know that they supported so many veterans in a way that was really cool. And they had that many different organizations set up. But hey, we're going to take a quick break. Going to go to the PSA. And we'll come back from the VA.
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Did you serve in the military? If so, you can obtain a free lifetime pass to more than 2,000 federal recreation sites. These sites are located across more than 400 million acres of public lands, including national parks, wildlife refuges, and forests. The lands host activities to fit any lifestyle: hiking, biking, fishing, camping, and much more. Old Star families are also eligible for these free lifetime passes. Plus, they cover entrance fees for a driver and all passengers in a car, or up to 3 additional adults at sites that charge per person. Obtaining one is easy. Just go to the National Park Service website, nps.gov, or the National Park Service app.
Hey, we're back with Combat Vet Vision. I'm Aaron Siebert, retired Navy chief, lucky to be alive after being hit with a mortar round. The PSA was just brought to you by the VA. The VA took some notice to my podcast, as well as a couple other ones, and put it out. So the Field Op is another one that's really good. That one also falls under sitchradio.com. And sitchradio.com manages my podcast. But hey, we're back, and we're just talking about this great Veteran Expo that I went to on Saturday. And I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of really great ones out there. I haven't been to any lately, but I just wanted to kind of bring that to the forefront, that there's just so many great things about it. And it wasn't just a expo of support. It was also an expo for job opportunities, as well as some things that I didn't necessarily expect to be there that just became interesting because it's also there for the public as well. So there's a lot of public organizations that were there, but they have an aspect for veterans. To give you an example, foster kids that are dealing with a lot of things. There was an organization there that was dealing with foster kids and taking them in and helping them out. And I said, hey, does this also account for somebody who's needs treatment, that needs to go into treatment and maybe doesn't have an aspect for their child to go to? And as much as somebody may want to get treatment, they feel like they can't because they're going to leave their child behind. So that was just kind of a neat thing to have in the back of my mind as I have this list in front of me of all these different organizations and things. Just some great job opportunity, AMVETS, the American Legions. There was a couple of American Legions there. All these different things. The police department that was there doing some good job. Just walking around making sure everything was good too. To their promotion to join in the police academy or something like that. Curb and Sign Incorporated. Just saying, hey, if you need a job of painting signs on people's curbs, that can open up a lot of job opportunities for you. So I was just impressed by it all. Just because I got a chance to go and network and talk to some people, resume, some guys that may have the ability to help you with a job doesn't always necessarily mean they're going to be able to help you get a job or push you in that direction. However, they might be able to look at your resume and give you some pointers onto what direction that may look like. So it's not, just to sit around and talk to everybody. You get to find out new puzzle pieces, like how will this work? How will this affect my life? And, as a veteran, as a combat veteran, it's always like, hey, what is working for me? That's the direction I like to go. Not everybody does well with EMDR, and a lot of people do really well with EMDR. Not a lot of people do well with equine therapy, but some people just really thrive on it and go well. A service dog operation, whatever that looks like, getting your service dog trained and you working on that, that may help you very well. Or family counseling, to all these different opportunities. Not everybody wants to go and drink beer and just hang out at the VFW, but the VFW has a lot of other opportunities. Maybe you need a place where you can quietly work or do something with your homework or whatever that might look like. MSJC was there, Mount San Jacinto College. There was a couple other colleges there that were doing some things. It was great. American Red Cross was on deck, and they have a lot of different programs, whether it's, you would think that Red Cross was just there to do their thing, but they also have, a 30-day plan of what you might need and how to take care of it on day 1, 2, 3, all the way up to a month or so of, hey, here's your planning phase to make sure you got enough supplies in case a natural disaster happens. So they had the natural disaster program plan on deck. So I'm just looking at some of these things that I kind of overlook as I go through my day to day to get exposed to these events and these things. It just gives you a great time to do that. Not to mention the veterans that you run into, and not all of us, necessarily know the latest and greatest, deals where we're allowed to salute, and whatnot in different scenarios, instead of putting your hand on your heart versus that. So, and, I stand up for the anthem for the Navy as well as the Marine Corps. I served in the Navy as a corpsman, an FMF corpsman, but I also stand for the Marine Corps because my my whole identity, most of my career was spent with the green side, part of my Navy and with the Marine Corps. So Navy by the dotted line, Marine Corps by heart, corpsman by soul, and chief by dedication. That's kind of my identity. And I talk about that a little bit, but it was great. It was great to have all these different opportunities. The grocery outlet was there. Just so many amazing representations, and just a real honor to have the military honors be presented in the way that they were. So it was just a great time. But hey, I just wanted to put that out there, and a shout out to Anita, who's on the VCOT committee, who put this together. Anita was really adamant. She actually got the veteran support person of the year, and that's kind of a high honor. So I got a picture with her and the mayor, and spent some time just talking to them and being part of that. So I'm on the committee. I'm doing all these things too, but that committee also gets to also understand what I'm doing with my warrior groups on Tuesday nights, and reaching out to the vets. And sometimes I even forget to mention this podcast. I'm like, hey, I do this, this, and this. And I'm like, oh, you know what? Wait a second. I also have this podcast on Mondays that kind of gets the information out and does these things. So much appreciation to everybody and everybody who put this thing together. And for you, the veteran that might be sitting around, check out your next expo. Maybe get out there and just see what it's all about. It's also nice to hang around your veterans and really kind of get some of that saturation of camaraderie. But hey, that's all I got. Much appreciation. This is Aaron Siebert, retired Navy chief. Lucky to be alive after being hit with a mortar round. Signing off. Strength and honor. Out.
Time flows under blue skies. The only way, like the sun bidding goodbye. The only way, and we need nothing more. The only way, together forever, that's for sure.